at our events.
Anyone is welcome to jump on board, support, and help. Event owners, advisors, people in high positions. I am not the authority on dance, but I'm someone that is bringing safety, transparency, and all of that good stuff that we talked about to the table, and it's time.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Jamie.
What could a trusted record of someone's participation in dance do for them?
I think it legitimizes dance, which is what we're all trying to do here, right? It's we're trying to streamline, we're trying to gain more knowledge and more power together so that we can have integrity in our art and sport just like other sports do. And I think that we can all agree that that is something that we all long for. I know I do, and I would love to have dancers treated like other athletes, where they can go to a space as well where they have all of their accolades, and those accolades therefore are more real and have more respect.
A digital record of everything that I did as a competitive dancer would be so beneficial now. Safety is the biggest priority that we have for our children. So if you are ready for a safe, fair, verified future in dance, self-verify today.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. My name is Jamie Hodgins. I'm the Executive Director of the International Competitive Dancer Registry, ICDR for short, because somehow we really like acronyms in dance. And as someone who's lived this entire industry, I've breathed it. I love it for over 25 years as a dancer, choreographer, host, teacher. You name it, I wear a lot of hats like so many of you in this room. I care so much about where we're at and where we can be if we all work together a little bit more. So I'm really excited that you're in the room today to follow the conversation, because conversation is key. In all of the 25 years, one truth, to be honest, has never changed. Dance parents are the backbone of this industry. The early mornings, the sacrifices, the quiet resilience that no one really sees, that's you. Today's conversation is for you. Parents like you are vital to this ecosystem, yet aren't really given the real space sometimes to be heard. So that changes today, because here we all are talking about things that affect all of us, things that we care about, our dancers, our children. So what we're building here at the ICDR really only works if it works for you. So I want you to think of the ICDR, the ID, as like a verified digital passport for dance, confirming not only who's who, but where you've been. It protects your media, it protects your data, and it's really the industry-wide structure I don't think dance has ever had. It's free. It's going to stay free with your support, and it's built for everyone by lived experience, because you're the paying customer. So you really should be in the driver's seat when it comes to your own data. But you weren't really able to fully control your data until now. And now you can really be in control of that. So what I do know is that today will confirm that we are really at the forethought of what you've been asking for many years. So I just want to introduce to you a very important body of people, right? Some people that are really helping getting this off the ground, that are dedicated to making sure that your dancers are protected online. So if I can bring up my ICDR team, if you don't mind, these people are working every single day to find solutions for you. So let's start with Monica Valencia, everybody. Monica Valencia is our privacy officer. She reviews privacy policies on the daily. Some things that I do understand, but I don't want to jump in the red tape for. So, Monica, thank you for doing everything that you do, making sure we're COPPA compliant, GDPRK, PIPEDA, BIPA, you name it, her job. Without her, I would be. Anyway, Gavin Taylor, everybody. Gavin Taylor is our customer support manager. He is leading, making sure that every verification is as seamless and easy as possible. So he's heading up that team. Shelly Fugel is on the customer support side. Ernesto Valencia is helping on communications and customer support. We also have Kim McSwain. Kim McSwain, I'm sure a lot of you guys know. She's a legend in the dance community, has been involved with dance for, I'm not going to say how long, but longer than me, even though we're very close in age. But we met a long time ago now, I think. But we'll get into Kim a little bit more later. But she's our US strategy lead. And finally, this is the CTO of ICDR, or Chief Technical Officer, Bryce Hunter. So this is your team, everybody. This is your body of people that are dedicated to finding solutions for dancers and for studios that we just have never had before. So I thank all of you, and I'll ask all of you to leave for now. And I'm just going to keep Bryce on the line with me. So Bryce, I just want you to introduce to our audience how you and I got connected,
Yep.
and also a little bit why you're so passionate about dance too.
No, for sure. It's kind of an easy story. Mutual friend of ours put us in contact with each other to talk about projects we were working on. And over a coffee, Jamie started to get into the weeds on this crazy and amazing world of dance that my wife has participated in her whole life. She's a Broadway trained actor and dancer, and my kids now, who are 5 and 3 and 3, just about to turn 5, just about to turn 3 and 3, have all just recently entered the world of dance. My son's been dancing for a few years, and my daughter's just had their first dance classes this summer. So it's a world that I was like, I'm going to be in this for a long time. Tell me all about it. Tell me about competitive dance. I've got this proxy idea of it. I've been involved in the arts and in deep, heavy technology companies, and I just don't have a full grasp of this. And Jamie started to get into the reasoning behind the ICDR and the logic behind how to improve child safety online, and how, quite frankly, it was a really big wild west out there for compliance. It's a
Mhm.
very much a wild west for data security, and ultimately, those are the things that immediately piqued my interest. As I'm I always talk about how I really love unsexy infrastructure and how to bring really complicated pieces of not necessarily just technology, but also complicated worlds together. And so in this side of it, that side of it rather really tweaked my brain, and I was like, let's jump in. If there's anything I can do to help, let me know. And from there, we've built something I think pretty incredible.
Yeah, and I love that Bryce is coming in with, UI UX experience, not to mention understanding of media and processing, and he's really helped us reframe a lot of the thinking of what is possible. And Bryce, can we just lightly touch on the fact that studios are provider partners? Everyone in the industry has been doing the best that they can with the tools available for them.
Yeah, no,
Can
for
you
sure.
just brief
Yeah,
brief
no, I
that?
mean, like realistically, I think you can all attest to the fact that 99.9% of you, I'm sure, would say that your studio directors have been an incredible source of safety for your kids. There's no reason why you would leave them with them otherwise. They're the ones that are also traveling with them to events where you're not able to attend the whole time. They're the ones who are keeping your kids safe in studio. And really, what we're trying to do here is come alongside the existing safety infrastructure that has been in place and just continue to offer up more and continue to offer up stronger solutions and continue to sit in the world of identity verification and ensuring that the people that are dancing on stage are the people that you expect to be dancing on stage, and that the people that are accessing your kids' media are the people that should be accessing your kids' media. And that's really our core first steps as we continue to move forward with more and more solutions. Yeah.
Yeah, and some of these are tough conversations, and that's why we're here, right? What can a free verified registry of verified dancers and their guardians do for the industry? That's the big question. But I don't think it's going to be really fun if we're just chatting at you for 50 minutes. There's a room full of important people who have things to say. And like ICDR, there are tools on Zoom to help us chime in and get our voices heard. So I just want to start by using the reactions that you'll see in the kind of toolkit at the bottom or the menu bar. So we want to encourage you to show love for people that are on the call. Maybe it's going to be someone that's spotlit, that has something tough to say, especially for our guests. So can we just try a react for now? I want you to try to go to the reactions. Yay, I'm seeing them. So you can see like react, send with effect. Yeah, just go for it. Send some love. Thank you so much, because we're all here to support each other. We're here to talk about dancers and safety, right? So I just wanted to kick that off, and thank you so much. Now I want to try something a little bit different. Now you're going to see agree and disagree buttons, and they're below the react with effect. So I just want to see what that looks like if we all just try to go and see if there's the agree or disagree. So I'm going to try something. I want you to agree or disagree with this statement. I breathe air. I think we should all agree. Let me see. Yeah. I'm seeing agree. Amazing. This is going to be helpful more moving forward, because we want to see consensus in the room. We want to see what everyone's thinking, what everyone's feeling. So I'm going to try one more question. Let's all reset that. I think you might have to press it again to reset it. Just double check. So if you can press it to make sure it's not lit up right now. Thank you so much. Let's try one more. I like cilantro. I know it's a weird question, but a lot of people don't. I don't know why it tastes like soap for some people. I just wanted to see an agreement and a disagreement, see if anyone agrees or disagrees. Rena does not like cilantro. Maybe it tastes like soap. Sorry, Rena, I get it. I love cilantro. I love Thai food. Nah, Gavin really doesn't like it. Neither does Ernesto, Erica. Okay, thank you. That's the feelings in the room. So if we could just shut that off or unreact, I guess you could say, if that makes sense. Okay, now we're going to start just by, some light chats in the room to figure out who's here. Right, Bryce? Like, we
Yeah,
want to know.
where's everyone joining us from? Like, why don't we just throw into the chat? Like I'm joining from Toronto. We've got Laura's here from Ottawa. Got Gavin from LA. Got some Orangeville, Rexdale, Cleveland, Florida, all over. East York, Colorado Springs, Texas, Edmonton. Love it. Alberta, St. Catharines, a few Ottawas, uh, Vienna, nice.
Did you say
Calgary,
Vienna?
yeah, Vienna, VA, yeah. Not Vienna, Italy, I don't believe.
Oh, that's what I thought.
So we have a good cross section here. This is amazing. There's a ton of people here from across Canada and the US, and this is exactly the group that we want to be speaking to. This is amazing.
Yeah. So next questions, use the chat, because we want you to use the chat today, okay? If there are any burning questions at all, if you're like, how does this work? Or, what does this cost? Or any sort of question, you can throw it in the chat at any time. And if we can't highlight it today, we're going to send a report on all of your questions moving forward. So let's just test it a little bit more. How many years has your dancer been dancing? And if you have more than one dancer, maybe your eldest. So throw that in the chat. 15, 21 years, 10 years. We got some people that are dancing for, Gavin, you've been dancing for 3 years? I don't know if that's true. That's our customer support manager. I mean, everyone's a dancer, let's be honest. Okay, cool. So that was just to get a little bit more engagement, okay? We want to make sure that this feels like something that you're a part of, because you are a very big part of the big puzzle that is the competitive experience. So let's go into poll one, if we don't mind. I just want to see, based on who's here, how many of you have actually gone through the ICDR verification. So we've got a lot of parents in the room. How many of you have passed through the one-time verification that takes between 2 minutes and 5 minutes to protect your dancer's media and the data online? And it's totally fine if you haven't verified yet, because you want to get clarity, and we want to make sure that everyone has that before they do so. So 55% have yes. We're about 68% in terms of everyone responding. Let's try to drive it up to 75%, maybe a few more. I'll give it 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So that's half and half. We see 50% of our audience right now have verified and 50% have not. So let's go to our poll 2. And Bryce, do you mind reading this one out?
Yeah, just how many events? This is like competitions, this is conventions, but like just think about your annual year with your dancers. How many on average are your dancers competing in each season? Is it one, two, or are you, just trucking all over the countryside and you're going to 5 or 6 or more of those?
We have an idea, but again, every studio is different, right? Some programs, maybe only go to one competition and one convention in a season,
Yeah.
and we totally understand that. So we're
Yeah,
just trying to
Carmen.
get it. Yeah,
Yeah, Carmen, is that more of like I don't remember because it's plus 10, or is that a
probably. And some of you are knee deep in, across the season, right?
Mm,
And there are different programs too, like there's RAD, there's adapt syllabus, there's lots of those sort of trainings as well. So we're specifically talking about competition and convention, but again, there are so many varied events. So we had 65%. Let's try to get to 75, few more answers in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So 38% of you go to 6 competitions or more. 6 competitions or more. That's a lot. So now we're going to move into a rapid fire agree or disagree. We've already practiced this in terms of, the using the reactions button. So we're going to bring up some slides to help lead what the statement is, whether you agree or disagree. So the
yeah.
first
We're gonna get
statement,
and we're gonna get to some questions right after this quick
exactly.
response set. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Bryce. Yeah, so
Yeah.
questions are coming right after this section.
Yeah.
So agree or
Yeah, agree.
disagree?
Yeah, I
Sorry,
know exactly who has access to my dancer's performance media. Is that a
agree or
yes? Is that a no? So go in those reacts again, and we're looking for those X's or those checks.
yeah, and this is kind of what we're talking about, right? We're going to get a little bit more into the current realities of us using identifiers like birth dates, for dancers, but we'll get into that. So let's move into the next slide.
Hmm.
I fully trust that dance competitors are the age and level they're registered as. Agree or disagree? Agree or disagree? We've got a lot of disagrees, right? Yep. Yeah, we got a few agrees. And believe me, I know some studio directors on this call specifically that enter everything with integrity, that are not changing birth dates. But I can't say that. And I don't think we can say that for every studio across the world. So let's go to the next slide, Q3. A birth date is a safe password to unlock accounts or media in dance. Agree or disagree? And I know these questions might feel a little leading, but they're just trying to raise awareness around what we're actually doing in dance right now. Because again, we feel that everyone has been doing the best that they can with the tools that they have. We just really haven't known who's who and who are behind a lot of these accounts. And that's our goal. Let's move on to Q4. Bryce, you want to take this one?
Dancers receive the same respect and protections as traditional athletes. How do you feel about that statement? Agree, disagree?
Okay, so we're seeing, some approval, a little bit more jump in approval, but I mean, we have someone very special on the call that you're going to learn a little bit more from very later. She's a little later, sorry. She's very close to me, and you'll meet her very soon. So let's go to the next slide, Q4. Q5. I feel in control of my dancer's digital footprint. Do you know where the data is going? Do you know where it's stored, how it's retained, what laws they do adhere to or not, right? That's the question. So we're seeing a lot of no's as well. And this one, let's all reset and take the accounts away, not accounts away, sorry, the reactions or agreements away, or yeah, so just unset, reset, sorry. The last one, I trust everyone online. Q6. We know the answer to this one. I had my identity stolen, everyone. I could not sell my condo. This just happened to me because someone got a hold of my data and then moved me to Barrie. And I had $80,000 worth of Costco charges. I've never had a Costco membership. So that was a little bit disturbing for me. Okay, so let's reset. Let's take away those reactions if you don't mind. And this is where we're going to break for questions. So we wanted to ask Ernesto, who is somewhere in this room, were there any burning questions from the chat that we should address right off the top?
Yeah, Jamie, Luis is just asking for a brief overview of how ICDR works.
I love that. And that is coming. Absolutely. So let's just jump right into it. So can we show Q7 and what is ICDR essentially and how does it protect your dancer? Let's talk about that just very briefly, and not briefly, as much as we want. So how does ICDR protect my dancer? We verify ages and identities of guardians and their dancers because there really hasn't been a cross-industry who's who and who are behind these accounts until we actually verify using government-issued photo ID and we have that official audit trail. So Bryce, do you want to break this down a little bit more before we head on to kind of explaining the data model?
Sure. Yeah, no. Realistically, what we do with our product is we primarily identify you. We are focused on ensuring that you have a piece of photo government issued ID that is something like a driver's license or a passport. And we use that by scanning the front of it to get their face off of it and do sort of like a little check of the text that's on it. Scan the back of it where we get a lot of really clear data from it, like the actual ID of the card. And we send the ID to check with the government themselves to say, is this ID legitimate? Is this ID valid? Is it up to date? And is the name that we've been given the right name for this actual ID? Okay, great. That comes back as true. Yes, this is in fact the person. This is rather an actual valid ID. Great. We destroy that data. We don't retain any of it. And then we go and we take a look at the picture that's on the ID, and we ask you to take a selfie. And what we do with the selfies, we're actually doing a little 3D depth check on your face to make sure that you are a real person holding a real phone. And then we say, okay, is that face the same person's face that was on the ID? And if it's a yes, and this is all happening locally, as well as anything that is traveling anywhere is just immediately destroyed upon confirmation. So we say, okay, is this you? Yeah, it's me. And then we say, perfect. We just have now a record of the fact that, for example, Bryce Hunter used his Ontario driver's license to verify his identity.
Yep.
True.
Yep.
That's it. We don't hold on to anything else. And all we want to be able to really track is the fact that Bryce did it on this date, and this is the type of ID that he used. So once we have that, you're now part of our actual ecosystem, and we're saying you can be a trusted partner inside of our space.
Absolutely. And, we're removing the use of Jamie Hodgins' date of birth, December 23rd, I'm not telling you the year, with a digital ID that is unlocked by this one-time verification. You only have to verify once. We don't store photos of the IDs. We don't store photos of your selfie. It's just an audit trail to make sure we are proving that you are the adult you say you are. And then we can strengthen any login that chooses to plug into our protections. And this is really important that this is shouldering the privacy compliance for the industry, right? You met Monica before, that is dedicated to privacy compliance and all these reviews of all these updating laws, that if you verify from Illinois, which is one of the most, I'm not going to say this right, Bryce, but they have a very strong privacy compliant need, or what is it?
Yes,
Sorry.
their regulatory body is very onerous. So BIPA has a very strong, the term is BIPA. It's a compliance and regulatory law in the state of Illinois, very specifically, that is even more drilled in than COPPA in the US, for example. And there's
Yeah,
each state has, not all, but many of the states have their own flavor or slight adjustment to COPPA. Yeah, BIPA being one of the
exactly.
most complex ones.
And so you're media protected. In the verification, we actually check what your multiple factor authentication options can be, whether it's one-time password, whether it's passkeys, whether it's Apple sign-on, whether it's SMS text messaging. That's how we start to protect that sign-in when you go in to retrieve media with, a massive technology partner, our first one being DanceBug. We are available for anyone in the industry to work with us, and we're actively participate in conversations with technology partners to find more synergies and alignment moving forward. So you're going to see a lot of that in the coming months. Accident and event cancellation insurance. I mean, when you sign up for a club at a gymnastics club, or when you kind of sign up for hockey, you automatically pay into the association and you receive accident insurance for, being an athlete. So we're just trying to make that option, that availability of an insurance package that can protect a dancer if they go down at the studio, if they go down at events where studios are sometimes walking into stages and scenarios, expos, ballrooms that they don't control. So sometimes it's nice to have that added insurance, right? And that's only coming down the road later. September 2026 is when we launch these very important insurance packages. Again, all optional, right? And that would be a paid service outside of our free IDs. History being preserved, if we can make sure that this digital ID works in DanceBug and it works in all the other systems, we can start amassing a digital resume. So I'm just going to move to the next slide because I want you to understand what is currently happening in the industry and how data is moving and how it's been managed. So Melody Jazz, whatever. Melody Jazz is obviously an anonymous person that we made up. But Melanie Jazz, whose birth date is 2011, August 12th, essentially, can be listed as, 2011, August 11th on accident after, a studio director has done 150 routines on one system and then moves to the other system and makes a mistake. Or maybe they don't make a mistake. And this happens. Birth dates should not change, and they do. So we're trying to usher forth a verified birth date. Our birth dates become locked because why would a birth date change? But then even if Melody, if you look at the bottom right one, where Melody Jazz has just a hyphen, that can throw off the whole system in the back end, right? The identifier is sometimes not matching exactly what the media distribution is. And then once this data is passing the studio walls, do we really know where it's going, how it's being handled? And I will say something out loud. There was a post not too long ago from a reputable competition that, had a vendor that was capturing in, let's say, Connecticut. The offices for that vendor was in New Zealand. So the data was traveling to New Zealand and the storage was in China. So we're talking thousands, if not tens of thousands of images of dancers traveling across oceans, in servers that we don't know, with no locks on the doors. And when it's in transit, it's vulnerable. When our data is in transit, it's encrypted. So you can see that this system, this way we've managed data, there's no connection from one provider to the other provider. And there's not enough connecting of the dots. It's just a little bit too difficult. And let's talk about levels. So if Melody Jazz has been competing for 10 years, and at the advanced competitive level, she can easily be, registered on another new system as novice, right? And novice means something different in Canada than it does in the US. But I just wanted to show this model, and let's look at the data model, the ICDR proposed model, the way we see this moving forward, and how you realistically can be in control of your own data. So we'll move to I think it's Q9. There it is. Bryce, can you explain a little bit about this model and how, it's
Yeah,
just a little
absolutely.
bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So And to kind of backtrack a little bit, not backtrack, but encapsulate some of this conversation so far, what we're building is an identity verification system that the dance and competitive dance world gets to use. By doing that, we get to set up and understand who a parent is and who their child is, and then we can restrict and control media access to that particular kid's data, and that's including their videos and photos, as well as really any other aspects of their online presence as it pertains to the competitive dance world. We're also in conversations with additional partners, particularly in the studio management side, to continue to bolt down this space and make it even easier, quite frankly, for studio directors to manage their dancers' data and their dance families' data, as well as give the assurances to the competitions that the people that are competing on stage are actually who they say they are and they're the right ages that they say they are. And then when the content's captured and then distributed or live streamed out, that it's only the parents and the people that the parents are actually approving that are getting access to that media. So realistically here, as Jamie alluded to, we have this spaghetti strands between all the different partners. A lot of it falls back on the poor studio director to maintain that library of information across a swath of different products that they're being asked to input data into over and over and over again. And here we're saying, let's just put it in once. And let's lock it with your parent's ID. And then let's make sure that when people are accessing it, it's the right data and that it's protected and accessible and the consent and control is controlled by the parent. It doesn't say, we're never saying that the studio director is not having access to it. We're never saying that the competition is not having access to it. What we are saying, though, is that the parent gets to be in the driver's seat for where and how the media, their child's data is being accessed by technology partners and by media partners. So this is the sort of the centralized concept here. At the same time, and it's a good time to address one of the questions that came up earlier in the chat, which is where's the data stored? So right now the I in International Competitive Dance Registry is a very real I. We are rolled out so far in Canada and the US, and with that, our core data structure is actually housed in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, and distributed across Canada and the US as needed. But right now, basically the all the data that flows through our system does reside in Canada, and we're actually going to be launching a data sovereignty approach so that if there's any parents in the US that want to have their child's data and their personal data stored only on US servers, that's going to be an option too. So we're rolling that out soon, should be before the end of this year. And we're excited to have that ability then to, as we expand internationally, into Europe, that those different respective territories also have that choice as well. So we want to make sure that everyone has the choice of not only how their kids' data is handled by external partners, but where's it stored and the structure behind it. So we're very, very serious about security. We're very, very serious about your rights and your rights over your and your child's data.
Yeah, we got to move on. So I just want to say that, it also is very important, Laura, about custody and guardianship, right? So we have all these policies and protocols related to custody because you can imagine that when a customer support team on a technology side, so a media distribution gets a call from a parent says, well, who took my media? They can't prove who the person on the other line, on the other end of the line is, and the other end of the phone call. Right? So we're finally providing that transparency and that clarity for guardianship. So I want to drop these slides if you don't mind, because we're going to move into someone that's very important to me. I want to invite someone that is very prolific. We can lose Ernesto. We can lose Bryce. Thank you, guys. See you later. We're going to move into a little bit of, what is happening in sport. And I want you all to know I had a front row seat to athlete treatment versus dancer treatment. And I had an amazing person to watch climb the ladder of sport. And I'm getting emotional because I really am proud of her. And I obviously love her. She is the president and CEO of the Canada Games Council. My sister, Kellyanne Paul, everyone. Hi, sis.
Hey, everyone.
Oh, there we go. We got you. Yay. So Kellyanne, you and I have been talking for a long time. Let's give her some love, everybody. Literally, she is heading the national level sports in Canada, offering opportunities to athletes. She leads with kindness, respect, I mean, obviously I'm biased, but she is without a doubt a leader in sport. And Kellyanne, it's taken you a while to get there, but tell us a little bit about your journey through sport.
Thanks, Jamie. You can hear me okay?
Yep, you're good.
Awesome. Okay, thanks for inviting me early so I could, listen in on this. Je vais parler en anglais, mais si jamais vous avez des questions, je suis capable en français. I've been working in the sport industry for about 22, 23 years now. And in terms of what Jamie's been going through with ICDR, like we've been able to, touch base about the parallels and the symmetry in terms of protecting youth in this country when they are engaging in extracurricular activity, right? So the provinces are able to lock down the education system and ensure that youth are protected in that system. And then obviously there's the regulatory authority with the police that are able to protect youth in another vein. But when it comes to recreation and that's where it fits dance and sports, the industry is diverse. There's a lot of different players in the field, and the concept of protecting those fields is obviously growing both in the dance sector and also in the sports sector. So Jamie invited me here to just talk a little bit about the parallels and talk about the differences. In the sports stream, I would say our prime focus right now is making sure that the coaches, managers, and technical support staff that are around the youth are verified. Not
Right.
using the same type of verification system that's being proposed here, but really it's ensuring that those people are trained, those people
You
are
get to hit
aware
share to put my foot on.
how to treat you.
Right.
And also, sorry, there's just a bit of background noise. And also that everyone is trained and that those athletes are protected in that field. Okay, so our focus right now is enforcing and training volunteers in the sector to treat youth properly and putting in place systems to make sure that happens.
And
In the
Kellyanne, can
dance
I
field,
interrupt? Is that
yeah,
like safe sport? I think a lot
yeah.
of, people in this call have both dancers and athletes in their household. So I think they might be familiar with some of this educational leadership approach to making sure that athletes, I should say, are safe in person, right?
100%. And because it's a federated system in this country, there's like a national level, there's a provincial level, there's a community level. And where that athlete sits, they might have different response mechanisms, different authorities, depending where they're competing. If they're competing at the club level, if they're competing on a provincial team, or if they've made a junior national team. Long story short, we know our sector the best and we know where to start. So right now we're starting on safe sport policies and complaint mechanisms so that we can ensure the athletes have a system and that they're protected. So that's what we're working on in our sphere. In the dance sphere, in what I'm hearing here and really liking is your sector best and you're focusing on content media and the fact that anyone has access to watch these youth who have joined clubs, are in dance studios, are participating in a competition, and the viewers of that competition may be unethical and might be taking what they see and using it for purposes that are not aligned with your values or what the parents signed up for. So
Right.
again, I think I just would commend the dance industry for knowing where to start. For sport, content media is not where we're starting, but there's a reason. We know our industry best, and I think we can learn from
And
you in the future.
And you're often photographed in sport wearing hockey gear, helmets, not
Right.
sometimes, very revealing clothing of dancers, not performing moves that they control, not wearing costumes that they had any say in. So, thank you, Kellyanne, for validating that. We have to move on, but honestly, it just means a lot that you've been a really good resource line for me to learn what works in sport and, we've both been in our industries for the same amount of time. She went in the sports sphere and I went in the dance sphere. So can we give her some love, everybody? Just thank you for taking the time, Kellyanne, and congratulations on all that you've achieved, to protect athletes because it doesn't go unnoticed, and mom and dad are watching too. So hi, mom, hi, dad.
My
See you
pleasure.
later,
Enjoy,
Kellyanne.
everyone. Thank you, Jamie. Bye.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Okay, so I want to launch poll 3 because after seeing that, I want to know if you have an athlete in your household that competes in sport. So we know that you probably have an athlete that competes in dance, unless you're maybe a teacher tuning in or a event partner. Let's try to drive this up to 70% if we can. So we're about at 50. Keep going. So we've got 44% of the room right now have an athlete in their household. Amazing. And 5, 4, 3, 71%. Thank you guys. So yeah, about half of you have an athlete. So you understand the structure you see in sport and how dance is very unregulated, and we're not interested in regulation. We're interested in support. We're interested in structure, and no one knows about how hard it is to sort of bring a lot of these ideas to the forefront than someone I want to introduce to you right now. If we can bring Kim McSwain up on the call. I met Kim at the Dance Teacher Web Summit, which was extremely just like a monumental moment for me to find another unicorn that was so well connected in dance and that leads from all the right reasons. Kim, I just you've been very inspiring to work with, and I want you to introduce yourself and say what your role is here at the ICDR.
Hi, everybody. I'm the U.S. strategist here, and I think what the main reason I'm here is I love this industry. I love everything about it. And I started it a year and a half. Mom had me in pageants, and I was dancing at 3 years old. I was competing at 5. And going on into this industry, I have done a little bit of everything in the competitive competition convention world. I love what it does for dancers. I love what it does for kids. And I have worked my way all the way up from being a studio owner to being the adjudicator to working on the conventions to owning a convention, working all the way up into the high ends. And I know what people are talking about right now. And I feel like we've kind of guarded parents from it for a little bit. And I was talking to Jason Pickett, and we were talking about where we end up. Where I ended up is for the parent side. That's where I ended up because I have children of my own. And I see everybody's side of it, Jamie. And when I met you and you were telling me what you were doing for this, I was so interested because I'm all about the safety of children. That's all I'm caring about, right? What's best for these kids these days in this dance world because it's moving so quickly. And then I learned about what you guys were doing, right? And I learned about what was happening really in the industry with these media packages, and it scared me to death, to be quite honest. And so then I started really diving in deep. So I want to say thank you, first of all, to you and Bryce for caring this much, right? And staying on top of this that might not be so taken open arms right now with everybody, right? Because
Well,
change is
yeah.
scary.
Change
Change
is
is
scary in
scary.
dance. Historically, change in dance is very tough to get across the finish line. And I know that, we're going to bring Jason Pickett into the call right now. So we might as well just highlight him right
Yeah.
away. And I'll let you intro him, Kim, because I have a lot of great things to say about this man.
Jason, what I love about Jason is you're bringing up things that need to be talked about, Jason. And you and I have a lot of similarities with that because we want what's best for the dance world. And we're not afraid to talk about things that might be hard to talk about. So thank you for being here with us. I want to say, what are you thinking about all of these media packages when you've heard that in one little structure, and I don't know if parents know this, in one little structure of dance competitions, 52,000 media packages went missing and nobody said anything. So where are you at with this, Jason?
Yeah, yeah. I'm in a spot where I'm concerned, of course. As a judge, as a parent, as an educator, um, you know, it's in like dancer safety is really, really important to me. It's something that's became increasingly more important to me over the past few years. And I think that has a lot to do with having kids. But yeah, I think it's really clear if you're around competitions in any sort of capacity that there is not a lot of safety around the dancers in terms of their media. Whether that's with the live streams, whether that's with the actual photography or video, a lot of times we don't even know who those people are. We don't really know, what's being done with that information after it, happens in the moment. And so that obviously leads to a lot of curiosity and a lot of thoughts. And so, yeah, and this conversation has come up multiple times, and personally for me as well, in terms of like who actually owns that media, who owns, the photos, the videos, the critiques themselves, who owns that media. And I think that is a really important question that we have to kind of ask and seek out and figure out in order to move forward the best way we can.
I never even thought about it. I never even thought about putting all of our stuff out into all the different competitions and conventions that we went
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
But here's what ICDR does. It puts it in our hands.
Yeah.
We're the official huge stakeholders. The parents and the dancers are the ones that own their stuff.
Yeah.
Finally, that's
They're the
huge
paying
to me.
client.
100%.
They're the largest
They're the ones
stakeholder
that
at
are
the
paying
bottom.
for it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. 100%.
And process is being dictated from the top down, and we can actually take control of our data and actually ask for things that I think will actually bring a lot more consistency and clarity. And it's only through conversation that people can realize that studios and parents can really work together on this.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's conversation. And I want to say this, I want to touch base because I know we're behind, but just the simple fact that my daughter can graduate and all of a sudden I can delete her stuff if she needs to be deleted and it's
Yep.
not floating around. That's huge. And let's
Yep.
ask this because Jason, you know a lot more than I do about this digital world. It's going so
Yeah.
fast
Yeah.
that we can't keep up, and that scares me.
100%. I mean, AI is a really intriguing tool and it has a lot of utility, but it's also really, really terrifying, especially when we're talking about youth and media. And there's a lot of reports coming out from, really large organizations that are pointing to the fact that there's a lot of, nefarious things happening via AI with youth media. So the more stop gates that we can put, in place to prevent some of that, the better. And also too, like, just purely having the ability to track these kids and track the progress that they're having as well is such a, we do this in every other aspect of life almost. If we think about schools, you have a school idea that tracks everything. And you have to use that in order to access your credentials and your reports and all of those things. And we don't really have any of that in dance. I've gotten links before. I know that not everybody goes to every single competition, but I do online dance critiques, and I've gotten links from parents before that are directly from competitions. And when you click on that link, every single dancer that competed at that competition's media is right there. And right there, that's already an issue when that link is being sent to me, objectively a stranger.
Yep.
I wasn't at that competition. I have nothing to do with that competition. Now I have access to every single dancer's media that was at that competition. That to me is an issue.
That's an issue.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Jamie,
that's
what
how
do we do?
bullying-
And that's where the digital IDs come in.
Yeah. And actually, we are running a little bit of short on time. So I'm going to thank Kim and I'm going to thank Jason because they are brave people in this industry, leaders leading from lived experience, highlighting issues that it takes a lot of courage, people, to stand up sometimes in this industry and put your voice out there because you're going to receive some backlash. And that's just, we're forging forward. So I just applaud both of you for highlighting honest, transparent conversation. And I've just appreciated getting to know each of you. You've both taken time out of your schedules to find out what is happening, because it does take some time to understand what this is. So goodbye for now. We will carry on this conversation. Thank you so much to them. And I'm going to go out of order for my back end people. I'm so sorry. I'm going to share screen and I would love to bring Mindy DeRose onto the call. If we can find Mindy, she should be in the back end somewhere. And hopefully she's there. If not, that's okay. We can transition.
She needs
back.
to turn on her camera for a second and we can bring her up.
Yep,
Thanks,
it's on.
Kevin. Mindy, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you, Jamie?
I'm excellent. Well, you and I actually started judging together,
We did.
and I think that was around the time when you started kind of moving into ownership of your current studio. Why don't you
Yep.
tell us just maybe in 15, 20 seconds who you are and where you're calling in from?
Okay, so like Jamie said, my name's Mindy. I'm calling from Orangeville. Oh, not sure if I just got, am I still on, Jamie?
You are. Yep,
You
you're good.
are.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know if I got kicked out. Sorry. Um, and so I'm from Orangeville and I own ADA Dance Co. I'm a dance mom as well. My daughter is 11 years old. She's been dancing since she was 14 months, and I've owned my dance studio that I grew up dancing at for almost 10 years now.
Amazing. Now, Mindy, I wanted to bring you on here because I know you went through the ICDR verification, which is great, but I want to show people what that means. Okay, so
Hmm.
keep in mind, I'm an adjudicator. I'm a host. I don't see the back end. Jason doesn't see the back end. Kim doesn't see the back end anymore, right? But you do as a parent, Mindy, but also as a studio owner. So can you tell me, can everyone see my screen right now in terms of the redemption path that I'm in? So this is a typical redemption path with DanceBug, our first fully integrated partner. Can we give them some love, please? Love to DanceBug for really championing this. I really applaud you. Thank you so much. Now, if Mindy's going into Redeem Media the old way, she hits this button, view competition list. So can you tell me a competition you went to, Mindy, this past season?
Star Catchers.
Star Catchers, amazing. So they're not right now, they're not here, but I think you went to Shooting Stars, right?
Yes, we did. Yeah.
Amazing. So this is how you redeem media, because keep in mind that we're using Jamie's first name, his last name, and a birth date to identify him. So how, when the media is, distributed widely after it's packaged for a studio like ADA, like Mindy's studio, how is DanceBug supposed to know who to give it to? So what was the location and date?
May 22nd in Huntsville.
May 22nd. This one. And there's you. So this is really interesting to me, and I hope you can all see this. So there are 26 dancers out of Mindy's competitive team right now, fully protected through DanceBug, and their media is only accessed by them. We supply that guardianship connection. And this is, the dancers that are not, verified. The parents haven't yet taken the time. But Shelby is, what's her last name? DeRose Smalls? So
Small.
she would be down here, but she's not there, right? So Mindy took the time, to remove her name from a public list because we can start using a unique participant ID unlocked by a one-time verification instead of using her birth date to redeem media. Because again, DanceBug has been doing the best that they can. There's no other way for a parent to log into a public system. And it's not public because you do need to create an account. But how is DanceBug supposed to know who's creating the account? Who's behind the keyboard? That's what we're talking about here. So I just wanted to highlight that. And Mindy, is there anything you wanted to say as, a studio director about what we're doing in dance?
Yeah, so sorry, I have it written down here on my phone. So I'm still learning about ICDR and what they're doing, but I really appreciate that the work that everyone on your team, Jamie, that's doing to support and improve the dance industry. As a dance mom and a dance educator and adjudicator, I really do feel like we need stronger standards and better protection for the youth. Sometimes it can be so frustrating to see inconsistency and unfair practices across the board. Again, like as a dance mom and as a dance educator. So I think having stronger standards across the board and just bringing more unity into this industry is what we really need.
Well, thank you, Mindy. Let's show Mindy some love, react with effect because I'm going to see you this weekend because I'm choreographing for her because I'm still in the circuit, I'm still working and I just love connecting with dancers and connecting with amazing, trusted advocates like you, Mindy. So thank you.
Thanks,
All right.
Jamie.
So we're going to jump into, and I'm going all out of order here. So I want to see Q10 if you don't mind. And I want to see Bryce on the call as well. And we're just going to refer to these very quickly because these are high top line items that I want to bring a lot of clarity to, and I want to make sure that you guys know moving forward. So, is it free? Yes, it is fully free. The baseline protections of the ID are absolutely free. You can stay in control of your data, and you will be able to safeguard your media immediately after verification inside of DanceBug, and hopefully a lot more technology partners moving forward. Can we go to Q11, please? Bryce, can you refer to this briefly?
You do. That's the most important thing here. You own the data. There's still all the normal chaotic elements of dealing with the world, but we are building tools out to give you more and more and more clarity as to who's touching the data, where it's moving to, and ultimately, if you want to clamp it down, you can clamp it down. You own the data.
And let's go to the next slide, please. Bryce, can you explain this one?
Absolutely. This is, again, we've kind of iterated on this a bit through the call, but we want to make sure that you are who you say you are, that you have a legal, valid, government-issued ID, that your face is the face that's on that ID. And that's, again, just to remind everyone, we don't retain any copies of your ID at all. We just make sure that we have verified that you are who you say you are, and then we keep just a trace of that information on hand so that we can always refer to it in the event that you wanted to know in the future. Hey, when and with did I actually get verified by you guys? We can tell you when and how. So yes,
amazing.
And yes.
Thank you. I have so many things to get through, but this is the first of many
I want to
Guardian chats.
Yeah, just before, I think there's an important note from Kimberly Carroll here, which is a question. I'm just going to pull it out just very quickly.
Please.
Free is good, but we all know that free isn't really free. How does ICDR earn dollars to pay for their overhead? 100% valid question. We are continuing to build new features and new product lines on top of this that we will be presenting to you, the parents, to say, hey, are you interested in primary accident insurance in the US? Are you interested in athlete grade, paramedical support in Canada? Are you interested in event cancellation insurance? We will be building little packages that we will allow you to purchase on an annualized basis to be able to access things above what will be their always free tier. There is no structure in place other than that. We just want to make sure that we're providing safety as a right and not a privilege, and that we're giving access and support in the same vein of safety to you moving forward with these types of additional products.
Absolutely. And just for sake of time, I just want to say that we are going to have more conversation, right? You can go to icdrdance.com. We're fully transparent, and all of our process compliance is all listed in our trust center. But I would love to launch poll 5 just to get a little bit more engagement from the room, to see a little bit more opinions. The question is, what happens to your child's data once they graduate the studio? Is it, I don't know? Do you think it's nothing? Do you think it's, I asked for it to be removed? I assume it disappears. Studio director deletes the data. This is obviously, we just had Susan Irwin, reached out to me recently, and she asked, can I ask you to address as a topic during the webinar what is recommended for retired competitive dancers? Our daughters are in college and no longer are dancing, so my concern for them is retrospective and who has and continues to have access to their proprietary information. Well, the answer to that question is, unfortunately, I don't know. I don't know how many platforms, I can go back to the studio. We can do a big deep dive into how many years they were dancing, what platforms, they used, and when the brand might have switched platforms. But this type of privacy control, that's literally in the hands of a parent, is pretty exciting. So I just wanted to highlight that. Let's go to poll 6, if you don't mind. We're just going to jump right to poll 6. Has your family ever experienced issues with bullying, cyberstalking, or missing media in dance? And I would love to bring someone on the call, but I know she's watching, but I can just validate it for her. Danny at Plie Prep, who is a strong supporter, thank you so much, has been public about the fact that actually happened to her dancer, because a link went out to the studio where everyone had access to it, and unfortunately Danny's daughter was unfortunately a victim of bullying within the same studio. So 42% have said yes, that this is something you have experienced. So thank you for that. Let's go to poll 7, please. We're going to wrap up in just a few minutes because I know you're very busy people. Apologies, I'm going a little over time. What is currently your biggest concern with dance competitions? Select all that apply. Is it level accuracy, age verification, media access issues? Oh, I see a lot of people are just everything. Privacy and data concerns. Is it live stream access, in-person audience? Is it backstage access? I can imagine that a lot of you are concerned about all of these things. I just really encourage you to think what a verified registry of your dancers and their guardians that is completely free, for you, the user, and you, the paying customer, to get the safety you're owed and you deserve, right? So that's the question for other people that are not on this call. And poll 8, what interests you most from this list? I would love to know what you are interested in. Is it a dancer verified record? Is that something your dancer, your son, your daughter would want? A verified source of truth for not only where they've been, what they've won, what exams they've participated in. We can centralize that if we all adopt the shared ID system. That's what we're trying to get across the finish line here. So you have more value for your investment. Dancer primary accident insurance. I imagine we've got a lot of Canadians on the call, but in the US, up to $25,000, no deductible, covering you in studio and out. Pretty amazing. Increased live stream security, that makes sense, but how are we supposed to do that when we don't know who's behind the account? Easy waiver system. Right now, it's being pushed through the studio director. We think that we can do it through unique participant IDs, so you get more time to sign. Event cancellation insurance, that kind of says it in itself. So I just want to, we'll end the polls for now. Let's bring up the survey, and we're just going to skip it, because I'm not going to make you sit here and answer more questions when I can easily follow up with you over email. We just want you to see that we have a survey planned, and we will send you this link so that you can take your time with your answers, because it's really important that we do hear from you. Let's go to the next slide, please. Verify today. So if you take your phone out and scan this QR code, you can, verify yourself as, a guardian and then onboard your dancer safely. So feel free, if you were inspired by anything today, I'll give you a few more seconds if you wanted to scan that QR code. And let's go to our next slide, please. Email support@icdrdance.com. Jamie at icdrdance.com. I am an open book. And if you have stories, if you have testimonials, if you have something an idea on how to further safeguard our industry, I welcome all of it. And I thank you for your lived experience. Bryce, do you have anything more you want to say to our wonderful people?
Just really appreciate you guys being here, and any conversations that you want to have after this. Again, like Jamie said, we're an open book. We only have been learning every single conversation about new features that we could be rolling out, new ideas, new problems that are, under discussed in the industry come up through every single one of these types of conversations. So please reach out, let us know what we could be doing to help you. And we're very active, developing very quickly, and very excited about the future.
Yeah, it's not easy, but it's so inspiring, to be honest, to see so many leaders come to the table to offer ideas and insights. And again, this is a platform for everyone, built by everyone. When we've removed the biggest barrier to entry being cost, what can this tool do for the industry? What can we do to catch up to sport, to modernize our industry through impartial software, to connect systems that have never talked together before? So we give you love for following the conversation and encourage you to keep following the conversation. We're not going anywhere. And if you have questions, feel free to throw them in the chat right now, because we are going to respond in full transparency with everything that is thrown into that chat. So take a minute right now. If you need to go, please hop off. But otherwise, throw an answer in that chat, And I wouldn't mind, just to end it all off, can we show a highlight for my back end people? It's the studio fireside chat. So I want you to know that you are guardians. We are inviting you to the call because ICDR is going to mean a little bit different things to you, but we already had a studio call where we had over 50 studio directors from across North America load onto a call. And this is a little bit of what was said there, just to give you that final little video piece of information, if we can have that ready. This industry matters so much to me. It's given me purpose. And I really applaud all of you because I know it's not easy being a studio director. I work for a lot of them.
As a studio owner, my priority is always to protect the overall well-being of my dancers.
I think we owe our dancers evolving with the times. JT Schramek said he would rather be along with the technology versus catching up to it later. You know, I did not give the industry the label Wild Wild West. It's because we are the last frontier to fully organize and verify our competitors. And I just want to bring up a question from the chat. The many people who have access to children is hugely concerning. You're absolutely right. In a database that is not necessary, ? We feel, and global privacy standards are saying that digital IDs are very necessary to make sure that we're protecting proprietary, personal identifiable information like a birth date. Because right now, studio data is being sent to as many platforms that you register your dancers on. I've talked with maybe 100 dancers that have had issues in the industry related to bad birth dates and vulnerable media, not to mention other things.
One of the biggest and most concerning things for me as a parent is seeing my kid's name and the studio that they attend every week on public lists when people go to download media. And the only thing preventing anyone from downloading my kid's media is the birth date. So our first protocol is we can remove that kid's name. We can remove my son's name from those public lists, and we can remove where he's attending his dance classes on a weekly basis. That's a big win to start with.
ICDR is trying to partner with all these competitions so these media packages don't fall at the hands of just anybody.
Ultimately, it's going to be the parent that's responsible for their own kids' data, and certainly the consent to process and store and manage that data. The ICDR ID is completely free. Is it reckless for this to be free when we're managing, data and security, and how do we pay for all that stuff? There's a series of other tools that we've been exploring that we'd love to get the community's feedback on as to what your dance families would actually benefit from. We have a waiver system that we'll be launching that will be free up to a certain scale, as much as we can afford. In the US, one of the major requests has been for a call for primary accident insurance. We're building up a very similar benefits package that's really tuned to an athlete's experience in Canada. We just were really excited to keep the conversation going. Please reach out to us. The conversations that we have honestly help form what we're building.
We know that studios have been doing the best that they can with the tools that they have available. ICDR is a new tool, but we are specifically designing it to make sure it's not onerous on you, to make sure that it's easy, seamless, and can protect your dance families without adding more to your plate. Our only goal is to improve the quality of life for every single stakeholder in the competitive experience. So, no small challenge, but something you met the team earlier that we are doing every day on behalf of parents that we care for, studios that we work with, technology partners that we're helping, and as well as events. So thank you so much to everybody for being here, for following the conversation. And I encourage all of you to just reach out if you have questions, and we will be in touch very soon. Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.